Kadee trains here. I have a bit of a treat here. We have a Roundhouse Products model kit that it has been untouched for probably 40 years. This is the Harriman coach for Pennsylvania, the 6173 might just be the part number, because when you open it up, it's not the number on the car. Asking around and checking around, these model kits were made throughout the 70s and 80s, and they made a lot of them. So it's difficult to figure out exactly how old it is, but that's why just throwing out the fact that this is probably from the 1980s. This came from my grandfather's collection. He unfortunately was not able to finish creating these. He had a set of 4 of Pennsylvania Railroad cars, and the observation car, the other coach, and the baggage car were all in various states of being put together, but this one has not been put together at all. So I was going to put it together with you guys, and hope you guys enjoy it with me. We're upgrading it to the Kadee knuckle couplers instead of the standard ones that were on all the models of the period, as well as updating some of the wheels on there. What I'm going to use is canopy glue. I love this stuff. It dries transparent, so it's perfect for canopies of aircraft. It's water-based, which means when it dries clear. So this is perfect for windows. This is perfect for when you want to glue something back on and you don't want the transparent bubble that comes from Tester's glue. I am going to use this sporadically just to make sure things are cemented well, but the canopy glue is something that I try to use as much as I can, just because it creates a good strong bond and it dries transparent, so you don't have the glue residue. A X-Acto knife is helpful because when you need to separate the parts from the brackets, this is a good way to do it without leaving a portion of the bracket still attached or even breaking what you're trying to separate. I have big hands, so that's why I have a pair of tweezers to help me out here. These are helpful when I need to mop up and get some of the excessive evergreen canopy glue off of there. And that's what these are for as well. So if I do need to scoop some glue up or not have as much as I want to apply, that's what the toothpicks are really good for. And a flathead screwdriver so that I can assemble everything. And this pad here, this has been helpful so that as I'm building the model, I can lay it on here and it'll have something soft to rest on. So let's get to it. So opening up, we have our car. It sits in this nice little cardboard frame here, which once the car is assembled, we won't need anymore. And we are given the 2 wheels, which I will be updating the couplers. The body comes out, the canopy, the top comes off, the bottom will come off. So those are all those pieces there. And inside the box, we have the 2 weights, which are gonna go in the front and the back. We have our instruction book, and then these are the brackets where everything is attached to. And these window sections would have come with a paper here, just to keep it from getting scratched as it was as they were produced. And we have the parts that go underneath, as well as the bulkheads that go inside the train car as well. The instruction manuals are pretty simple and straightforward. They unfold out and they give you historical information about the rail car, as well as a diagram as to how to assemble it, as well as some tips along here as to how to assemble it. So this Harriman passenger car was the standard car from around the 1910s. These passenger cars are classified as all steel, lightweight cars. It was used universally by almost all railroads, and its early beginning in the 1900s, these cars filled a variety of needs for modern and high-speed passenger car. Even today, given when this was made, you'll still find them on most railroads. So it has a note about how to build it and the blueprints and diagram as to how to create it, where everything goes, and it has a label for what it is so that you know what it is you're putting together. So I'm going to move this off to here, and we will then get started. Maybe we'll now attach the bulkheads first. So looks like this has already come off, but I do want to take my X-Acto knife here and just make sure we're nice and straight along here. Looks like a little bit did come off. Same thing over here. Looks like rather than bend and breaking it off, I can then just use this to separate it. This goes in my garbage bin. We'll close this back up. And these, according to the diagram, they go in more or less right here, and it does sit in there pretty snug, which is good, but I still want to throw some glue in there to keep it where it goes. And this is where I might use my canopy glue, just in case if it does get a little bit messy, it doesn't leave like a little plastic bubble type of thing in there. Not that I'm necessarily going to see it, but I do want to go with that. We're going to start going on the canopy here. Now the canopy here, looking at the instructions here, it has over here there's going to be two ventilators from where I believe the bathrooms were, and then all along here are going to be the general ventilations. And this is probably another example where I will want to use the canopy glue just to make sure that I'm able to stick them in there nicely and I don't have any sticky material sticking out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and attach one, and this is where we can start to have a fun little montage. Okay, now let's move on to the bottom. So looking at the bottom, looks like we are attaching a generator, an air tank, the water tank, brakes, brake circuit, and battery box. And I can see that there are holes here telling me where everything goes. So the battery goes here, I think the water tank goes here. So let's start attaching a few things. Now, this has these rails here. Those rails are used in the baggage car because I don't see anywhere here where those rails would be needed. So if you have the baggage car, those are some extra ones. I'm gonna go ahead and start removing some stuff. So now comes for the coupler update. Normally, it would come with these couplers, these old style ones that would go inside. The aluminum metal piece would sit on top, and the screw would go all the way through, as well as these other two little screws here as well. Now, I noticed when updating my other ones that putting that in there and then the coupler caused some problems with it not coming together very well, which ended up being an okay thing, because once you get these onto the bottom of the car, they started scraping and getting caught. So that's where I'll use the aluminum pieces elsewhere, and we'll show you how that works. Those two are for the axle. Those are also going to go underneath the axles. These couplers are going to go in a box that has other such couplers. Correction, don't cut this. There's supposed to be glass on either side of these so that when you do close it. I just realized that when I looked at the other one that is still needing construction. So do not cut this. You want to be able to have the glass there. I still have some pieces here which I can then repair it. Now I just need to take a moment for everything to dry, and then we'll be ready to go. Then this will just sit on top of that. The bottom of the rail car sandwiches between these, so those can go over here. And let's take a break and let everything dry. Things are now dry enough that we're ready to start to put together. Now I noticed that there is a little bit of a sticky film here, and I've tried to remove it, but I'm starting to scratch the plastic at this point. So my first model build, things like this is bound to happen. So I noticed when finishing up this car that I needed to put the rubber band on there just to make sure that this stayed down. And by assembling this car, I found out that the bulkheads need to go all the way down to the flush with this bottom. And the reason for that is because the top will not go on while it's doing that, because again, it'll push it up too much. So let's go ahead now and put the weights on. Weights are supposed to go here and here. And I've noticed that they snap together pretty well. So I don't need to necessarily put anything down there. Just make sure that they snap on, especially since the trucks are going to screw into here and pull the thing together. And that's where, again, I noticed that if I was going to keep these from scraping up against there, that I just wanted a little bit of extra elevation. So that's where I took this piece here and used that as elevation. So this goes through here. These pieces, instead of going on the coupler, are going to act as a spacer here. And you don't notice them when you have everything on there. Slowly put that on there. Looks like I need to go closer. There we go. So that one's on there. They're starting to dry here. This I had to move because I realized that in order to get the top on there, I needed to make sure final adjustments since everything is not quite done drying. Now we just need to put the roof on. And the roof, because of the bulkheads, have to go in front, behind that, and I had to shove them down a little bit just to make sure that they... So we unboxed one and fully put it together. We took another one that was partially put together, and I did that one as things were drying. So far, so good. I took a scissors and cut the rubber bands that were holding them together, and I am noticing that the aircraft glue, the canopy glue, did leave a little sticky filament right here, but because it's water-based, I'm noticing that I'm able to take a Q-tip, not a Q-tip, just a soft piece of wood, and scrape that off. So I'm going to take a moment and scrape all of that off. Using a screwdriver scratches it, so that's why I'm not doing there. So I'm going to continue using a toothpick to scrape all of the residue off of here to give it a better look, and then we'll put them both on the track. Well, not too bad. One of them was completely my building, and I definitely learned a lot about what to do and not to do. I think the next time I'll try to glue them from the underside, so when I put those in there, we don't have that transparent film that kind of messes up the roof. I might still throw some gloss paint on there or something just to fix it up a little bit, to see if I can get it to look like what my grandfather was able to do. Oh, looks like we're missing a part there. So let's get these on the track and run it a couple times with the engine I have here. And this is really exciting, guys. So all that's left now is get the fourth and final car put together. The observation car, which is about halfway done. Please like and subscribe. I learned a lot from building this. Thank you, and see you guys soon.